Today we're gonna make one of my new favorite dishes. Just made this recently. It's rosemary chicken with sausage and tomatoes. The flavor combination is unbelievable. I know you're gonna love it. Okay, so let's go over the ingredients. Chicken and sausage. There's a lot of chicken and sausage here. This recipe can feed a lot of people. So I have 8 chicken thighs. Now, normally I would buy bone-in. They didn't have them at the store, so I picked up boneless with the skin on. So these are really nice too, but you can use any chicken thigh you want. So we have 8 thighs. I have 2 pounds of Italian sausage links, okay? This is just sweet sausage, okay, with fennel. 1.5 pounds of cherry, these are grape tomatoes, but cherry tomatoes would be fine. Just 1.5 pounds of these type of tomatoes, grape or cherry. 3/4 cup of dry white wine. 1 large onion that I just sliced fairly, not too thin, to give it some nice texture. 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary leaves that are chopped, and then parsley for garnish, and then I have 3 heads of garlic here. 3 heads, all right? But we're gonna roast it with this dish because after we get our nice sear on our chicken and we make our sauce, we're gonna cook this dish in the oven until all the flavors come together. Chicken thighs are great. You can't overcook them. I mean, unless you're a maniac, you could overcook them, but they're very difficult to overcook. Same thing goes for sausage. So we're gonna have beautiful roasted garlic at the end of our cooking time. I have a loaf of bread. There's a lot of good sauce in this one, so I really suggest you serve it with a nice baguette, crusty bread, seeded, whatever you like. All right, what's good about this dish is there's not a lot of prep work either. Now, the chicken thighs, the reason I always, and if you've been watching this channel, you'll notice this, I do this often. I'll just take a quarter sheet with a wire rack and I'll dry them off first, put them like this, and then in the fridge overnight, they get they'll just dry out. A lot of the liquid, will evaporate, which is what you want to get a good sear. You could also salt them overnight. I didn't do that. We're just gonna salt and pepper them before we sear it. But just setting them up this way, again, instead of pulling chicken out of like a package with all the solution and then sitting there with like a ton of paper towels to try to dry it off, so you get a sear, you just do this the day before and you're set. So the only other prep we have to do is our garlic cloves, our garlic heads. So try to get like a head that's very firm. A lot of ingredients in the store these days are just not as good as they used to be. I go to plenty of stores and, a lot of times garlic isn't so good. So, dig towards the back, get the ones that are hard. Because we don't want to cut this open and for a lot of cloves to be bad. All right, so we're just gonna cut the top off of it like this. Now, you gotta have a sharp knife to do this and go through. So you're gonna lose some of this, and you can roast this part too, but we're gonna roast this in the pan with olive oil on top, and it's great because it gives people the option to have a lot of roasted garlic with the dish or have none at all, instead of throwing a bunch of cloves in the pan, which, though, you can do if you like. All right, repeat for the other 2. So if you like main course recipes, which I'm sure you do because you're watching this video, I wanna let you know about our new cookbook, Sip and Feast Family Favorites. It has plenty of main courses in there. In addition to that, it has all the other sections you would expect to find in a cookbook. It is a beautiful cookbook, 256 pages, over 100 recipes, beautiful photo, nice instructions, good story in every single recipe. It has US customary and metric measurements, so everybody will be able to follow along with these easy recipes. Right above you is the link where you can buy it. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other sellers. QR code if you're watching on TV, which I'm increasingly aware that the majority of you are watching on TV. It's also pinned in the comments and in the description. If you don't like cookbooks, you just like watching our videos, buy it for a friend or family who does. Thanks. Okay, if you have a 14-inch stainless steel pan, if you don't have one, you should get one because it makes dishes like this infinitely easier than if you're using a 12-inch pan. We're gonna be able to fit everything in here, and we're gonna be able to cook this in the oven, all in this pan. Now, if you don't have one, use a 12-inch pan, and then you'll be able to transfer it all to a large baking dish or 2 baking dishes, all right? I'm gonna heat this up to medium heat. So since you're using a stainless steel pan, just put heat on it at medium before you put your oil down so nothing will stick, all right? It's as simple as that, a couple minutes. Our pan is nice and hot. Just put a little bit of oil down right now. You don't have to put too much because we're putting sausage in there. We're gonna get a lot of fat from the sausage. Okay, I'm just gonna dry these links off a little bit. Okay, and just put them down. And all I'm doing here, you don't even need to go through this step. You could go right to your chicken, but I'm gonna just get some color on them and get some of the fat out so I could sear my chicken in a little bit of that sausage fat.
When you're browning sausage, is it necessary to poke holes in it?
You can, I mean, you know, you can get really fancy and do like, you put them in a water bath first. A lot of people do that so they don't naturally curve. The natural tendency is for them to curve. I don't care about anything like that. Not for this dish. And to be honest, I don't know why you would care about that with any dish with sausage. This is rustic food. Like, it's not, you know, you're not going to like a 3-star Michelin restaurant and being like, oh, that's a dead straight sausage. You know, like, it's just, it's not supposed to be that. You know, this is like, what do you do with this? You make sausage and peppers, okay? Just a couple minutes per side. Okay, that's only been like 2 minutes. So just like this, which is fine, just to get a little bit of color. And if you have one of these, use it because it's gonna be splashing everywhere. We're gonna use our chicken, sear our chicken in a few minutes, so you can salt and pepper them now. Nice amount of salt on it. Chicken's bland, it needs salt. And I'll just hit the salt and pepper up on the other side after they go in the pan, because we're gonna sear, for the majority of the time, skin side down. Okay, so it's maybe like 5-7 minutes total time on the sausage. Obviously completely raw on the inside still. The sausage plate, you can put them right back on here now, because don't worry, you're not cross-contaminating anything, because we're gonna be putting everything together in the oven for an hour. Okay, that pan, do you have enough fat in there? See that? Get a touch more olive oil if you want, but chicken thighs have a lot of fat too. Okay, so chicken thighs, skin side down. When you put them in the pan, put them away from you so you're not like, you know, splashing your shirt and all that. Now that was the bottom side in the pan, and that'll still have a little bit of water, so I'll just pat it dry too. Okay, and I'll go wash my hands, and then we'll season salt and pepper on this side too. Let them go until they get really nice and golden. You might have to move them around a little bit if you have like a narrow flame like I do here, but if you're on the stovetop, you'll be all right. And you can tent the sausage with foil just so it stays a little warm. Okay, salt on this side too. Another trick is you don't even, you know, if you don't want to salt this side, when they come out after they're nice and hot, you can salt them again. The salt will absorb a little bit into the chicken. All right, we'll let them keep going. Medium heat, okay? If you're really smoking up and you're burning, just lower your heat. So yeah, about 6 to 8 minutes. Pull that off. And, okay, that could go a little bit more. I moved them around a little bit, so like this one was really nice from before, but we'll let them go a little bit more. I want to get a really nice crispy skin on those. Another 2 minutes. All right, so that's been about 8 minutes. See, and that's nice and beautiful like that. And if your pan is heated up properly, you're not gonna have any sticking or very little sticking. Yeah, they just come right off. All right, those all look really, really nice. All right, we'll do about 5 minutes on the other side too. Okay, you can turn off the heat for a second. So maybe to stop so much splashing. Well, that is lots of grease on there. All right, so let's pull these chicken thighs out onto a plate. You can use that same plate again. I already put it in the sink by accident. At this time, you can heat up your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so you just add the onion straight in. Okay, that's 1 large onion that's sliced, not too thinly. Okay, everything's rustic in this dish. Very rustic dish. All right, now I'll turn my heat back on to a little bit less than medium. Pinch of salt on those onions. Okay, and you have a lot of fat in the pan. Coat those onions, and we're gonna let them cook in here until they get soft and translucent. About 5-7 minutes. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes on those onions. And now we will add our 1.5 pounds of cherry tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes. Same thing. I want to cook these. Now, listen, if you could take the time, slice them all if you want, but they're going to burst anyway, so it's kind of easier just to do this. We want to let them burst, and we want to get a lot of the liquid to release from the tomatoes. Because otherwise, we'll have a little bit too much liquid in the pan for our final dish, though I want a lot of sauce still. Okay? It's been a few minutes. Some of them are starting to release their liquid. You know, you can poke them if you want to, but I'm going to let this keep going for 10 minutes or however long it takes till most of them burst and they release most of their liquid. Okay, so a lot of them have released their liquid. That's pretty good. All right. Smells good. You can do even more. Again, if you let them go till they completely burst and release all their liquid, you're going to have less sauce. I think this is a happy medium right here. This is 1 teaspoon of hot red pepper flakes. Put a little bit more in. All right, mix that in there. And then this is 3/4 cup of dry white wine. Turn your heat to high. Okay, with your wooden spoon, if there's any brown bits, like right here, I don't know if you can see, just scrape it up. Get the sides of the pan too, get everything in there. And then we're gonna cook this for a few minutes or until it reduces by about half the liquid that's in here. Smells so good with the wine. If you can't use wine, use chicken stock and maybe like a squeeze of lemon juice, maybe like a tablespoon or 2. Red wine vinegar would be good too. Okay, so that's good. About this, remember, all these tomatoes are still gonna release liquid and the onions when it cooks more. Turn off the heat. You can do a little bit of a taste test now, or you can season it at the end. Delicious. Nice and spicy too. If I didn't put too much in there, hopefully the taste tester will like it. All right, so 1 tablespoon of the fresh rosemary. Now, that's a lot of rosemary, which is gonna make the predominant flavor in this dish rosemary. So go easy on it unless you love rosemary. I like to take a few more of the full stems for garnish. You can add them in like at the end or 5 or 10 minutes before it's done. All right, mixing that in. Just take your chicken pieces and nestle them all in there. Okay, all these juices from the chicken, okay, put that in there too. Now again, if you don't have a 14-inch pan, put all this in the baking dish, put your sauce in, all that, and you will be set. But you can fit it all in here. And sausages can go wherever. I like to kind of keep a little bit of separation between everything. So there's like a sausage and then a piece of chicken. Okay, sausage fat, juice, put in there too. Well, I had a little bit more room last time, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, garlic. You know what, you can take a little bit of juices too, put it all over sausage and the chicken. And the tomatoes look nice too, like a few of them on top. We're pushing the limit here, but it's gonna be great. Olive oil on top of these. Get it all in there. All you have to do now is just cook this, bake this at bake roast for 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And all the sausage is gonna cook, the chicken, all the juices, everything is gonna combine. And the beauty of this dish is that you can cook it initially for an hour. Just make sure your chicken thighs are 185 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature into the thickest part of the meat, but they can go up to 200. It doesn't make a difference. 210, they're gonna be super fork tender, delicious without overcooking it. So, you know, after an hour, if you want to do it another 10 minutes, you can. And what I like to do is very carefully broil it right during the last minute or two. So we'll be back in an hour and see how we did. All right, and here it is. It's been 1 hour. It's a beautiful garlic. Now, this is an hour. Nothing's gonna hurt at all if you do it for another 30 minutes. Trust me on that. You can check your chicken temperature, but it's definitely over 185. And the garlic is roasted. As the garlic cloves get roasted, they'll start to pop out a little bit. And they're very easy to remove now. What I like to do, and we'll offer it to the taste tester, we'll just see if he wants some of the garlic and I'll just pop some of the pieces out. I like it to have a good amount of liquid, and there's a lot of fat on top here. You can degrease some of it if you like, but it's really delicious, the sausage and the chicken fat. This is best served with a nice loaf of bread. I think it looks amazing already. You can put a little parsley on top, but it doesn't even need it. I like to just go with a few pieces of rosemary like that. So when you serve this, you know, family style dish, everybody digs in there, everybody gets their bread in there. That's exactly what I'm going for with this dish. Another dish being tasted by the taste tester. Thank you for taking your shoes off again. Always appreciate that. Okay. You had this already, but would you like some roasted garlic on with your chicken? These are boneless.
Yeah, sure.
These are boneless with the skin on, just so you know.
Sauce is very good. Super like fall-like.
That rosemary is just like, once you put a rosemary in a dish, that's why I just use just rosemary for the herb. It's so powerful that you don't even need to compete with it. Okay, there you go. Some nice garlic for you.
All right, I'm gonna try the sausage first. That's good. I'm gonna have a piece of chicken with the garlic on it.
That garlic is good. That's why, you know, you don't even have to stop at 3 heads. You can do a head per person. This dish can feed like 6 people. I actually made a 40 clove garlic chicken, which is a James Beard recipe that he made for Julia Child. I don't even think it's on our site yet, but I might make a video for that one too. And it's the same thing. You're roasting garlic. Well, there's not a lot of talking from you today. I guess more eating.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, this is a messy one with a lot of fat.
Yeah. Gain a lot of garlic flavor, obviously, from this. A lot of rosemary. Those are like the 2 main things I'm tasting. It's very like buttery, like fatty, pretty rich, I would say.
Yes.
It's a very like hearty meal, I would say. I feel like that best describes it. I really like it, but like these fall meals aren't really my favorite types of meals. So I'm gonna give this a solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay.
Yep.
Seems like you liked it. I know the other. So
I do like it a lot.
He had it the other
it sounds
night,
good.
and he actually told me, he's like, this can't score higher than an 8. So thank you for sticking to the 8 at least. And yeah, you preface it by saying, just these aren't like your main type of meals.
Yeah, the fall dishes aren't my favorite type of thing.
Yeah. There are plenty of other recipes like this in the cookbook. This one is not in the cookbook because this is a new one. Anything else you want to add, James, or you're just going to keep eating?
I feel like this is like hard to eat.
It's
How's
hard,
this game,
it's
good?
hard to eat when you're as tall as you are and you're like having to lean over a dish.
Yeah. This isn't a setup
You know?
for eating,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, you can't bring that plate up to your
Yeah.
face either. Thank you for watching. We always appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time.